Yelled at him that this was the one thing that I asked him not to do. And he promised me that he wouldn't. He told me I was being dramatic, that it's not a big deal.
No.
And we should just be enjoying our time as newlyweds.
Wow.
I was trying to, babe. That's why I gave you boundaries up front. Am I the a-hole for being livid at my now, she put in parentheses, husband? My 33 female, husband 30 male, and I got married last week. So they're technically newlyweds. I had been super chill throughout the whole wedding planning and during the actual event because I know that SHIT happens, and if anything goes wrong or not exactly how we wanted, it's not that big of a deal and may even make the wedding more memorable for the guests. Excellent attitude about life. The one thing that I told my husband, and I already know what it's going to be now based on saying this, I didn't want to happen was I didn't want him what? Smashing cake in my face. I've got got a lot of feelings about when people do that. I had a suspicion that he would find it funny to do it. So during the planning, I flat out told him not to do it. I don't think it's funny. I don't want to mess up my makeup that took hours to apply, and I don't want cake on my expensive wedding dress. I told him that I would be livid if he did it, and he promised that he wouldn't. Well, come the cake cutting time, what did he do? Smash the cake in my face. I got it on my dress. I messed up my makeup, just like I knew it would. I'm pretty sure that his friends convinced him to do it. Don't give him an out. He's a grown man. Not that that makes it any better. I kept it together, went and cleaned myself up, and put on a smile for the rest of the reception. Wow. But afterward, I let loose on him. I yelled at him that this was the one thing that I asked him not to do. And he promised me that he wouldn't. He told me I was being dramatic, that it's not a big deal.
No.
And we should just be enjoying our time as newlyweds.
Wow.
I was trying to, babe. That's why I gave you boundaries up front. So was I being overly dramatic, or am I the a-hole?
Wow.
I don't even know that this is actually up for discussion, but you go first, my love.
Do I think smashing cake in someone's face is fun and funny? Yes, I do. I think that's fun. I think that's funny. What I don't think is fun and what I don't think is funny is breaking someone's trust and crossing someone's boundary. When you break someone's trust and you cross someone's boundary, the joke is no longer funny. And for me, as a person who reads into things, because I think things should be read into,
Especially in romantic relationships.
especially when you're going to spend the rest of your life with the person. If I asked you not to do it and you did it anyway, that sets the tone for what our marriage will probably look like. That says you don't, out of the gate, I don't respect my wife.
Yep.
I don't think that her voice has weight, right? I don't think that when I do something wrong, that I need to be accountable for what I do wrong.
And that's the big piece, isn't it?
There's so many big pieces.
You're right.
And I don't think that when I have wronged her, that it matters.
Yeah, of course not, because she's just being dramatic.
And so, again, is cake in the face funny? Yes. Lord, no, I love some cake in my face.
Lord in heaven.
Can I get to the yams? Sweet yams.
I literally can't stop
But
right now.
with that being said, I would say that she is not the a-hole.
Everyone has an opinion on whether you should smash cake in your spouse's face on your wedding day. And they're like really stringent lines. I don't feel like most people are like in the middle. Most people are either like, you should absolutely not do that, it's so disrespectful. Or people are like, it's a tradition. Like, it's not that big of a deal. We got married when we were very young, and we weren't broke, but we also just didn't have like money to spend on lots of things. And while I do think I'm a girly type of girl, I had never had my makeup professionally done. I didn't have it done for my wedding. I did my own makeup. Like, that was like 2009. So, I mean, I'm assuming maybe somebody was getting their makeup done then, but I wouldn't have known that that was a thing. But especially like in the year of our Lord 2020s, I feel like almost everybody is paying someone else to do their makeup for their wedding. And if they're going to splurge on something on a day when they're going to be filmed and photographed in front of all of their friends and family,
Yeah.
that's maybe not the day that you want somebody like smashing cake directly in your face
Right.
at your expense in front of everyone. When Jamal and I were engaged and planning for our wedding, I did let him know up front,
Multiple times.
repeatedly, in fact,
Several times.
I will be extremely upset with you if you smash cake in my face. One, because I, as a person, find it disrespectful. Right now, people can do whatever they want. If you don't mind and you guys are that kind of couple and you think that kind of thing is funny and you want to smash it back in his face too, like, there are all kinds of people. I'm not saying what other people should do at their own weddings. Do whatever you want to do. Live your best life. However, in the camp of Cierra, I, number one, embarrass very easily. Okay. And while I do think I'm a relatively outgoing person, I don't know that I love all eyes on me in public settings. I'm not a fan of that in general.
Yep.
And the idea of it being photographed and filmed and everybody I know being there watching it happen, to me, sounds like literally the worst thing ever. Not to mention that wedding dresses are generally very expensive.
Yep.
And when you're cutting the cake, depending on how your wedding is set up, you may or may not have already taken your photos. Like, you're going to take candids at the rehearsal dinner. Like, it's just not a good look to me. But the real kicker of this is that whether he felt like she was a chill person or not, or, prides herself on being like one of the guys or whatever he thought, like, she asked you not to do it. And then you took it upon yourself to cross that boundary, and not just cross the boundary, but cross the boundary on a day when everyone that you know and care about, your friends and your family, like her new in-laws,
Yep.
all your friends,
Yep.
all her friends, all
Yep.
her family
Yep.
are all watching this. And you're
Yep.
like, And I'm sure that you've seen, because I know I have seen weddings, like wedding videos where it's obvious that she doesn't want him to do it and he's doing it anyway.
Oh, that's
and y'all are
never
not
a good
even
look.
married yet.
never
And
a
you're
good
all right.
look.
Like, do you remember that video where that guy's literally like holding her down, like shoving it into her face?
Yes.
Like, I don't know
That
that I've
was a
ever felt
domestic
more
violence.
rage
Yeah.
for strangers
Yeah.
than on the day that I saw that video on the internet. I was like, because I don't know about her, but I'm leaving, because I'm really like, number one, I am petty in that way. But also, if I had asked you not to do something and then you did it anyway, I'm not staying for the rest of the reception, because you've broken my trust. You've ruined the moment, because now I have to go and clean myself up. If I have to walk out of here to go clean myself up for something you did to me that I expressly asked you not to do.
A girlfriend comes to you after you saw her get cake smashed in her face at her wedding, and she says, "Hey, I don't know if I actually want this like I wanted it before this happened." What are you saying to her?
I'm a girl's girl all the way. So I'm team whatever you say. Okay. Now, I'm not going to add fuel to the fire, because I try not to be that person. And I have like one really good friend that I go to if I feel like I feel like you got layers of friends, okay?
Yep.
You have friends that if you just want to like bitch and moan and you want them to be team bitch and moan, they got you.
Okay.
Okay? Then I have a different set of friends who if I need somebody to like reasonably talk to me like am I overreacting?
Right.
Okay? Am I being crazy
Right.
or is this disrespectful? Is this rude?
Right.
So I got a couple friends on that side, a couple friends on this side.
Right.
The friends you want to talk to on that day is not the fuel to the fire friends. You want to go to your friend that's like water smooth as glass. Okay? You can't sway her one way or the other. You say, "This is what happened. Do you think I'm overreacting?" And she's going to be like, "Nah, girl." Like so I try to be objective because I'm going to be honest. I don't like all my friends' husbands. I don't like all my friends' boyfriends. But again, I'm never trying to mess anything up that you got going on over here.
Right.
If you want to stay,
Right.
I support you. If you're like, should we break up? I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. I would be like, let's weigh the options. Is this a make it or break it?
Yeah. Yeah.
In past relationships or past situations in my relationships, I've had that conversation with a friend and been like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right.
You know, and that's not necessarily only in romantic relationships.
Right.
That's with other friends, you
Yeah.
know. I would just be like, well, let's talk about it. Is this, a canon event? Or is this a one-off?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like, did you talk to him about it?
Yeah.
Have you, are you sure that he really understood? And not to give him grace, but just to be truthfully, like, sometimes you can be very direct and men will be like, you never said that. And I'm like, in fact, I did. You just weren't listening. So is it a case of like, he misunderstood you or he just thought you were like, oh, don't smash it in my face. Like don't do it. But actually, I think it's kind of funny and I'm turned on. Like, you know what I mean?
Right,
Like there's
right.
different, like,
Right. Right. No, I remember when we were getting married, you very directly told me multiple times,
because I didn't want there to be any confusion.
even up until the time
At the rehearsal
cake had
dinner?
been no,
Oh,
no,
at the wedding?
the wedding.
I was
The
like giving
cake
you the
had
eyes?
been cut, and we got the pieces, and we're doing the thing, and she looks at me and she goes,
Don't you dare.
"Don't do it." And because my eyes are just trouble, I am
Yes,
just like
100% facts. I detect no lies.
Sierra knows when in my brain I'm like, let's get crazy, right? Like, you want to get nuts, right? She can
Just spit that all over myself.
she can see it coming across my eyes, right? So when I lifted the cake up, I really had no intent. I just wanted to like joke with her for a second, but it was not a joking matter. It was like my eyes were like, and she was like, "You better,
That'll be the last cake you ever get
you better not,
because I'm outie.
you better not." So yeah, wow, that's crazy. So no, she's not the asshole.
No, she's not. And more importantly, it's because she went, according to this, and had a follow-up conversation with him about what he did, and he told her that she was being dramatic.
Yeah.
That's gaslighting 101.
Ooh, that's not good. That's a bad.
Now, early on relationships, I don't know, did they say how long they had dated?
No.
I will say that early on relationships, communication can be one of those things where you don't, I mean, he's 30 years old though. They did say how old they were.
Okay, to me, when
Tell me.
Tell
us.
let's assume that this is their first relationship, like their first, like, I don't know, serious long term relationship, right? And
Because he's 30 and she's 33.
and they decided to get married, right? Here's what I think, particularly when you're a man. I don't know how it works for women, but particularly when you're a man, it takes an act of Congress for a single man to think outside of himself, right? Like, let's just be very real. Most people aren't self-aware. Most people aren't acting out of selflessness. Single men are very self-centered and have so many blind spots. So it takes some time to understand when you have done something to someone. If you haven't been coached and trained
Yeah.
on how to make amends, like we coach and train our kids on, you did this, you should do this. You did this. Do you think that was okay? Most parents aren't intentional about teaching their kids how
Those type of
to
life skills.
how to have life skills that are
Relational.
relational and selfless, especially when it's boys, because what do they say?
Boys will be
Boys
boys.
will be boys.
Which
All
is the
day,
biggest load of bull.
every day, 365, boys will be boys. So when a boy does something where they will be boys, I don't know, grab a girl's butt, say something disgusting to her when it's just a boys will be smash cake in her face at the wedding after she said not to. When it's a boys will be boys thing, women look crazy because boys will be boys, right? So I'm saying that men grow up protected by patriarchy in that sense.
Yeah.
Boys will be boys.
That's fair.
And I can only speak for myself, I can speak for my own self experience. When we got married, though I had had relationships in the past, I was still very selfish. So much so that in my mind, I would know like the selfish thing that I was thinking, and I'd have to say, do the opposite of what you're thinking right now. Don't do the thing in your head. Do the opposite of that thing because you want to show this person that you love them, right? Like that. So I think it takes time for men to learn that if they haven't been taught. And if they haven't been taught, I think, that's why you and I say we don't think people should get married as fast as you and I got married.
Yeah, we didn't recommend
Because
that.
what conversation are you having with this
Not
man's
enough. It's not even what conversation. It's like you haven't had enough conversations.
No, you haven't. Right?
And now he out here smashing cake in your face.
I haven't even sat down with you haven't even sat down with this man's mother and been like, "Hey, by the way,
I think that was in your best interest.
how do you sit down and how was it like what are some lessons you taught this person when they were growing up? I'd love to pass those to my kids so they can tell you the things that they did or did not teach their kids,
They would
right?
they would lie, and you know that.
For sure they would lie. For sure.
They would lie.
For sure.
They would lie. My
For
mom
sure.
likes to talk about how often all the things she taught me to cook when I was young. And I'm like, I had exactly 2 lessons. Why would you say that, Mom? That's a lie. And when I told her it was a lie, she just stopped talking and moved on to a new topic. I'm not even kidding. This is a real thing that happened in my real life not that long ago. Like, I was like, why would you say that when you know it's not true?
I used to teach you how to cook all the time.
Yeah, we used to cook all the time, Sierra. No, Martha, we did not. We didn't do that. Yeah,
But anyhow,
2 meals. Just maybe I shouldn't say that, but that's real life. That actually happened to me very recently.
pop quiz.
Moving on.
So if it was me that smashed cake in your face after you asked me not to, are we still sitting here almost 15 years later?
And again, what I would have said to a friend is this a one-off? Do you feel like he respects you in general? And is this just a poor decision that he made? Based on the fact that she said, I think his friends like egged him on to do it, is like dumb and also concerning because like you're 30 years old. You're not 22.
Yeah.
So your friend's still getting you to do dumb stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's some little teenage boy stuff. But anyway, I feel like, I don't know that at the age that we were, I would have had enough emotional maturity to like been like to have a full on conversation with you. Like, I feel disrespected. I feel like you broke my trust. I feel like
Right.
because I was 21
Right. No, you were 20.
at our wedding, at the actual wedding event. I was 21.
Oh, okay.
because I would have turned 21 in July,
Yeah.
and then our actual wedding ceremony
Yeah.
was in August, but we got married on paper in June.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
see, look at him trying to correct me right now.
I wasn't thinking that you
You
were.
can't be wrong and loud. Just kidding. But I don't know that I would have had enough emotional maturity in that moment. I'd have been real hot.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. And I would have probably just left. I would have just walked, like, I would have walked out at that moment. Like, after the cake, I would have just walked away. I might not even have cleaned my face off. I probably would have went straight to a vehicle because one of my friends would have seen my face and followed me out the door. And I'd have been like, get your car keys because we're leaving. I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm not saying that's mature. I'm just telling you what would have happened. Now, on the other hand, at 30 years old, I feel like I would have had enough emotional maturity to have been like, this wedding is on pause. Let's have a conversation right now because, like, back in the day, I used to let things fester and, like,
Yeah.
which always resulted in an explosion, which was emotionally immature
Yeah.
of me. Right? Because I wasn't taught those skills that I'm trying to teach our children. She said she's 33. At 33, that was only a couple years ago for me. So I'd have been like, listen, broski, this is on pause. Let's have a conversation in the hallway.
I don't know if I said this already, and I may have.
What?
But I read somewhere or I saw somewhere, and I can't remember where I saw it, that it is the number one way you can tell if a couple is going to get divorced is if they smash the cake in each other's face.
I don't know if I feel like that's true. Did you smash the cake in your spouse's face?
We want to know.
Did they smash it in your face? Did you guys smash it in each other's? Because I feel like if you guys are both doing it and it's like a fun thing and everybody's like good with it, they're like, it's a tradition, let's do it. I feel like that's the thing. Like, do that. I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me. And that's okay. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. Let us know.